Hi everybody, can you see and hear me? Anurag, Vaishnavi, Souvik, Anushka. Who else is there? Hi, good evening guys. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining me here. Anurag, you're currently watching a match. Which one is that? But so good that you're here to give me company. I appreciate that, Anurag. Yes, Anushka, Vaishnavi, hi Prameet, hi Kratika, everybody, welcome to the session, guys. I'm thrilled, as usual, to be sitting here with you all. And we are going to have a 60-minute long session, but it's going to be a rocking session because I've compiled some really good and relevant questions for you. So if you're ready, we can start. What is the agenda of the session today? Of course, as the title suggests, we are going to discuss conclusions. Conclusions are what? See, we have already done conclusions, like a little bit of conclusions in our paid classes. And I asked you guys to do some extra practice. I will be posting some stuff on the app as well for the people who are there as like members of the app, like there on the app. Okay. So no, RC99 Vaishnavi is definitely not good. It's obsolete material. So yes, so coming back to conclusions, we consider conclusions to be a part of critical reasoning. But normally in RCs, conclusions are there like in, almost every third or fourth question. So what are conclusions? And should we even attempt these questions in the test? Are they like really tricky or are they very doable? This is exactly what I'm going to discuss with you today. So for those of you who have attended my paid session on conclusions would find it a little easy. But for those of you who are sitting here for the first time, you really need to sharpen your fangs because conclusions मजा तो आएगा but थोड़ा सा tricky होता है till you are able to put a finger on the pulse of conclusions. All right. So, yes, Vaishnavi, I hope you heard my reply. Yes. Anurag, we are ready to roll. Mrigang, good to see you. Tejaswini, very good evening. Hope to see you. Yeah, hope to. Yes, Tejaswini, yes. Yeah. All right. So, you guys can hear and see me like ekdam clear. Can we roll? Koku, happy to see all of you over here. And hope to give you a rocking time. Ha, Aditi, Shyam. IP mat is a scam. तो IIMs जो करवा रहे हैं श्याम, that is a scam. फिर तो उनका जो MBA है वो भी scam है. Conclusion is connected to the main point. Yes, Vaishnavi, you nailed it. Prameet, okay. Rohan Sharma, hi, good to see you. Okay, Anurag, come on. So see, Anurag is sharing his time between the match and this class. I'm not going to let his efforts go waste. All right. So let's start now. First things first. What is a conclusion? Okay. I'll write it down for you guys over here. Number one. Just let me go through these main points, like, the Gyan points, and then I'll take you over to the questions. How many questions are we doing today? There are 10 questions in store, all connected with RCs. Like, I'm not giving you single paragraphs, short paragraphs, because we have already done those in the class. Okay. So, what are conclusions? Number one, point number one. Conclusion is connected with the main idea. All right, connected. Yeah. It is not the same as main idea, but conclusion is connected with the main idea. Okay, conclusion can contain a suggestion. Number two, can contain a recommendation. Okay, we should do this, we should not do that, we should control this. Yeah, exactly, Tejaswini, coming to that point. Point number three. All right, conclusion has to be true according to the passage. Okay. Point number four. It is a type of inference. Why do I call it a type of inference? I'll explain. Inference is something that cannot be verbatim from the passage. Rephrased? Conclusion is something that cannot be verbatim. Take a rephrased version. Inference has to be true, 100% true according to the passage. Conclusion has to be true. The only difference between inference and conclusion is inference is any random sentence taken and rephrased. It can be one of the 70 sentences in the passage taken and rephrased. That can be an inference. So it can be simply a true and false. It can be simply one line connected with Brooklyn, one line talking about Netflix, one line talking about spiders or anything. Conclusion is taken from the passage. It has to be 100% true. It is a rephrased version, but conclusion has to be overall. Like it has to connect with the big picture. Got it, everybody? I hope this is clear. That's why I connect conclusion with main idea. Fine. Now, point number 5. It's not necessary. Ha, Tejaswini, I'm coming to that. This is the point. It's not necessary that conclusion will always be the big picture. Because sometimes in CAT, I have come across questions that ask us, what can be concluded about the author's stance in the 4th para? Okay? Or what can be concluded about the author's tone in the 3rd para? आप वहाँ पे confuse मत होना. Is he asking me conclusion or is he asking me tone? No. Sometimes I have come across questions in CAT that say, what can we understand about the author's stance in the passage? It is not saying conclusion, but it is actually conclusion connected with main idea. That is why I'm trying to explain this base thing to you. You know, the key. Conclusion is simply put, rephrased, main idea, you know, the big point in the passage, rephrased. Okay, that is the true conclusion that we generally look for. But sometimes it can be a question that says what can be concluded about the first 2 lines, or what can be concluded about the whipping boy, mercantilism being a whipping boy mentioned in the first line of the passage. You got my point, guys? Clear? So, I'll mention point 5 over here, can be specific sometimes. I hope these points are clear, everyone, Anurag and Tejaswini and Mrigank and Anushka, everybody. Yes, Anushka, conclusion can be result or outcome of something. Conclusion can be a suggestion. Conclusion can be the main idea connected with the passage. It can be just any of these. All right, Vedamitra, good to see you there. Okay, fine, we are done with these points. Okay, now, purposely, I have given you some questions that don't explicitly ask you conclusion. Some questions I have given you that say conclusion. Some questions are there that don't say conclusion explicitly. But you have to understand with me that they are asking you what you understand from there. So if I put point 6 over here, in capital letters, I would say, what do you understand about a particular point? Or what do you understand about the passage? Or what do you understand about the author's stance? Simply put, think of inference and conclusion as this. You have to just rephrase. You have to take something that is 100% true in the passage. All right? Over to question number 1 now. This is a passage that is how many paragraphs long? 2 paragraphs. That's it. Okay, Vaishnavi? No, conclusion, it's not necessary that conclusion will be there in the end. Okay, Vaishnavi Johri? Conclusion can be there in the first para as well. Kabhi bhi critical reasoning mein, dekho, in fact, that's a good question, Vaishnavi. In critical reasoning, I always teach you this. If there is a para, the conclusion can be either here or here. So if there is a passage, Vaishnavi Johri, the conclusion can be in the first para or it can be in the last para. I hope this much is clear, everyone. Right? Okay? ठीक है? चलिए, moving on to the first one now. This is the passage. Okay? Just 2 paragraphs long. I have got questions over here. How many questions are there? 3 questions. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, look at this. Which of the following statements expresses the key point made in the passage? This is your main idea, right? When we check the passage, we'll discuss if there is a conclusion or not. Fine. Which of the following statements would the author agree with? Definitely something connected with conclusion. So Vaishnavi Johari, whenever I come across such a question, agree with, first I'm going to go and look at the last paragraph. Okay, last para first. उसके बाद फिर फर्स्ट पैरा में देखेंगे या जहां कहीं और अगर जरूरत पड़ी तो ठीक है. Then question 3, ये I have just slipped in a weekend question because this was very interesting. So this is critical reasoning weekend. In the first two questions you have to connect with the main idea and come up with what the author would agree with. Alright, so first we are going to solve questions 1 and 2. For that, now you're going to check the two paragraphs. Go on guys, give it a good read. But you see here, Tejaswini. So my attention is all here. People no longer passively consume media content and they are beginning to value their own opinion and offer it this. I will pay attention to these 3 lines here, like extra attention. Okay, Vaishnavi, Anushka, done. Next para please. The revolution, where is the revolution mentioned? In the last 2 lines of the first para. Look at this. How wrong they turned out to be. We are done. Okay. Now first we are going to solve the questions. Then I'll show you the important zones of this passage. Like if I'm handling this passage, which lines would I pick and focus on? Okay, but first I'm taking you over to the questions. Main idea question, always try to solve it first. Go on guys, check it out. Come on guys, what should I save as your answer? Or you need to go back? Bilkul Vaishnavi, bilkul. I'm taking you back. Check both the paragraphs. Cool guys. Okay. All right. Kratika, Tejaswini. All right. You both are going with A. वैष्णवी जौहरी ए. ओके, अब एक ने जब ए बोला है तब तो बाकी सबने ए बोलना ही है. या so question 1 I have to save A. Okay. Okay, Anurag, Anushka, I have saved A. Okay. Now question number 2, which of the following statements would the author most likely agree with? Take a look at the options now, Mrigang. I'll take you back if you want. But you have to eliminate. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to zero in on the answer. Okay? I'll take you back. Okay? Cool. Question number 2. What should I save? Tell me, guys. C? You guys are telling me C? Okay, noted. Fine. Then, over to question number 3. Just for fun we are doing this. अभी हमारे paid classes में भी like we haven't reached this weaken and strengthen, but just for fun's sake, let's do this. Okay? Weaken the case made in the passage. For this you need to understand the main idea, the claim. You have understood the main idea? You can weaken it. Chalo, Ritu Panwar and Anushka and Anurag and Tejaswini, Shraddha, Mrigank. Tejaswini always gives the first answer and then the others follow suit. If she says X, others say X. If she says Z, others say Z. Hai na? Okay. So this time you guys are taking D. Okay. Now, before I disclose the answers to you guys, I would like to show you my way of handling this passage. If you're interested, you can just be there. All right. I mean, I'm going to give you a very, very honest kind of like, a passing on of the way I would handle this. Okay? Let's say this is there. The printed word, the radio and the television. Printed word means media, right? Radio and television used to be the only sources of information pehle. Journalists and radio and television were household names. They decided, okay, what we saw in, right. Just watch me guys. यहाँ पे कैसे कैसे क्या क्या points निकाल रही हूँ मैं. But, okay, so what type of passage is this? Last week ही Shabana ma'am ने बताया था कि there are different types of passages. In one of her YouTube sessions, she explained this. So this is like, earlier something used to happen and now there is a difference. It's that kind. So maybe in the rest of the passage, he'll talk about the new way. Okay? What earlier people used to do and now what is happening. The change, the revolution. Okay? So the second para is going to talk about what people will do or the new way. But people no longer passively consume. Passively they don't consume means radio, television and printed word don't decide what we get to hear and see. So people are actively involved. Acha. And they are beginning to value their own opinion. Okay. From here, Anurag, I skim because this is just explaining what people do in order to be actively engaged. Right? They post online, tata, okay, all right, okay. Then I go down to this point. So from here to here, it's just explanation and I skim it. Explanation of what they do, people do these days. Then I settle here. Dekh rahi ho Vaishnavi? I settle on these last two lines because these are supposed to be very important in a passage. And in this para especially, I think I can get the main idea there, right? It is the beginning of an expressive revolution where people express. That has only recently become possible and will embrace most people in the future. So the author is being a little, what, prognosticating. He's forecasting, he's saying, yeah, most people in the future are going to embrace this. Now, if I take another color and show you the important zones in this paragraph, these are what? Here. This, okay, to here. This, ye. This, this, okay, and this. This is Saloni Jan, good to see you too. Yes, Vaishnavi, good. I had been calling out your name, not realizing that you were not there. Yeah, so this and this. That's it. Trust me. If you skim this portion, you are smart. This is what they do. The people do. Okay. Now, Tejaswini, Saloni, before I move on to the next para, actively I tell myself in the next para, he's going to explain it in detail what people are going to do or how things are going to shape up in the future. All right. Now, watch me please. Watch me. Here. Not every review or entry on the internet is correct and sure. Some are bizarre. Right. Now, he is giving us one downside of what people make as entries. You get it? Everybody does, everybody posts, ye wo. Not every review is true. Not every review is good, but it's bizarre. But the same has always been true of the content of this. Audiences are receptive, okay. Skim karo. The revolution is creating pessimism among the employees of the traditional media. Realize the extent to which the business model is threatened. Okay. They can barely believe. Now I'm going to read these last 3 lines. They feel, these employees feel that the business model that they have developed is threatened. They are used to something that is threatened. They can barely believe that users might put as much or more onto the network as they download. Okay? They had seen the internet as simply another outlet for their products. How wrong they turned out to be. So these employees, they had seen the internet as another outlet for their products. We are going to sell our products on the internet, but no, this has become a place where people express themselves. Itna hi to bola hai isne. Right? So these people, these employees feel threatened because the business model that they are used to is kind of, it looks threatened. Right? Now, I go over to the first question. Okay? So here, Anurag and Tejaswini and Shraddha and everybody, the main idea, like if I come up with my main idea words, I never come up with a sentence for main idea. So it's like, what is the topic of discussion? The topic of discussion is internet, right? Okay. The main idea is becoming a platform for people to express themselves. Right, Aman? है ना? यहाँ यही तो बोला end में भी, they had seen the internet as simply another outlet. How wrong they turned out to be. Okay, and here he says very clearly this, beginning of an expressive revolution that has only recently become possible and will continue into the future. Right? पहले क्या होता था? He has given here. But now people are becoming more active users. Done? Now I go over to my question, main idea question. I'm giving you a chance to check again and give me the final answer. I would definitely eliminate. So, don't make that mistake of just pinpointing your answer. No, eliminate please. Come on, Aman. Vaishnavi, Tejaswini, Saloni, Anushka, Richa, Shraddha, everybody. What should I save as your final answer for this? A. Okay. D can be eliminated, fail to understand what the internet meant for their business. Yes, this is narrow. Very good. The media moguls of yesterday, this is one part. Correct? One part of it, that yesterday they failed to understand what it meant for business. है ना? This is eliminated, Anurag. I'll go with that. Saloni? Okay. Next, the newspaper, radio and television journalists and presenters did not deserve the unquestioning trust that we used to place in them. The first para says they were trusted. They were given that. How do we conclude this from the passage that they did not deserve the unquestioning trust? Moreover, the passage is not about the trust that they got. This is again narrow and cannot be inferred. CNBI cannot be inferred. Right? This is narrow. It's just given in the first para. We used to trust them earlier. They decided what we saw, what we heard, what we understood, what we propagated. They decided. Right? So B and D are eliminated. Now, yes, I'm taking A as your answer. Very good. All right. Great. But before we jot down our final answer, I just want you guys to get into this practice, Anurag. So I'm saying it again and again. I'm not saying A is wrong or A is right. But now that we have eliminated B and D, okay, I need to look for the difference between the two. ठीक है? Between the two. So, the ongoing media revolution, nice word, means that to succeed, a media company must, I need to check this, let consumers share and configure content. Share, there are two words separated by and. I need to check both the words so that I'm like confirmed, okay, this answer is true. Okay, I'll check this. Okay, another thing, media company. Okay. C says the era of mass media is giving way. Mass media पहले होता था, media ही decide करता था, that is giving way, that is moving away. And what is coming in its place? One of personal and participatory media. People share, people discuss, people actively engage in it. This is what C says. So, all right. Now, between the two, you need to take, I mean, अभी हमने देख लिया difference between the two. You need to take one, go back and prove. Come on. You're convinced A is the answer? I will save it. I'm happy. I just want you guys to be absolutely certain about your answer. ठीक है? चलिए, Anurag and Shraddha, final A. Vaishnavi is eliminating C because it is incomplete. Okay. Come on, guys. Tejaswini, A. Okay. A done. Cool. Next. Question number 2. Which of the following the author would agree with? Chaliye. You have locked A as the answer, Anurag. Good. Bhumi, no problem at all. Yes, Mrigank. Okay. Done? So, मृगांक तू तो रहने ही दे, क्लास में लड़कियां मेजॉरिटी जो आंसर सेव करती, तूने तो वही सेव करना है ना? Okay. Author of the passage agree with. People like the certainty provided by a figure from above telling them what's important. Figure from above, the first para, they decided. Okay. The new media will erode our grammar, our attention spans and dumb down our cognitive abilities. Decide karo aap. Does this sound a little extreme or something? People are learning to prefer a conversation to a sermon. Sermon is somebody telling you what to do. Conversation is you engage in it. People will become less aware of differing arguments as they become heavier internet users. Okay. Chaliye. So, answer C, confirm. Kritika? Right? Done. Last one. ये तो आप लोगों ने डी बोला है पहले से, और मतलब ये अब इसको तो मेन आइडिया अगर निकल गया है तो फिर तो ये तो निकल ही जाना है. ओके, डन. ओके, Now, very sad, very disappointing. Okay, आंसू, answers देख लो आप, and I'm shocked. This shows that you guys have not been practicing. You guys have totally been out of touch. और यही अगर कंटिन्यू हुआ तो थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. इसलिए you need to go and do some conclusions, some inferences. Answers are CBD. You need to do some main idea. Like the first one, I was really aghast when you guys went with A. Just because of the word revolution, you're doing this, guys. The ongoing media revolution means that to succeed, a media company must, okay, must. Isn't that extreme? Must. Let consumers share, configure. यार configure का meaning क्या? आप लोगों को configure का meaning नहीं पता है. Share and configure content. Configure content means you get down to the company level, उनके server पे जाओ, उनके उस पे inputs पे जाओ, and then you allow the consumers to come and configure content over there. What is wrong with you all? Yes, Anurag, you just followed the others blindly. Today you did not use your brain. बहुत फिजूल आपका interpretation है तेजस्विनी, बहुत फिजूल. I'm saying that bluntly to your face because you have been out of touch. Very sorry. I mean, C आपको narrow लग रहा है. C narrow लग रहा है. Era of mass media is giving way to one of personal and participatory media. People are actively engaging. That is the main idea. In order to prove the main idea, the author has come up with the companies wala example here. Here, the revolution is creating considerable pessimism among whom? Employees. But what is the main idea? The revolution. Revolution means what? Something is changing. Some big change is coming. So one era is moving out and it's giving way to the other era. How can you prove configure? I fail to understand. This is really and truly disappointing, all of you. Everybody. Very shocking. ये क्या है ये? Must let consumers share and configure content. Is the passage is the main idea about companies? No. The main idea is simply here. The main idea is here. Earlier this happened. Now people are actively engaging media, consume media content, and then it's here. It is the beginning of this revolution. Oh, Mr. Author, how do you prove that it's a revolution? तो author ने बोला wait, I'll tell you, in companies also it's happening this way, employees are getting threatened, they are feeling threatened, these are all under the big picture. So you took the revolution wala word in option A, a media company must let consumers. Is this suggestion given in the end? No, but this is your main idea that's given right there. So C is your answer. This is out. Aditi? Okay. Which of the following statements would the author most likely agree with? Very sad. People like the certainty provided by a figure, telling them what's important. In the first para it's given. Earlier they used to tell us. We don't know whether people liked it or did not like it. So like the certainty, eliminated. Right? People are learning to prefer a conversation to a sermon. It's given there. Literally given there. मतलब not those same words. Yeah. They decided ये and their opinions carried great authority. जो बोलते थे वो ले लेते थे. But now they believe in conversations because they believe in engaging. They believe in this advice or answers to questions posed on every imaginable subject, realizing that the experts have feet of clay and that all too often a rank offers a more profound contribution to the debate. Experts and authorities are not good enough. So we need a rank amateur, somebody who can come in and somebody who can join the conversation, somebody who can actually, just give us some input. So people are learning to prefer a conversation to a sermon. Means they don't want somebody to tell them what has to be done or what has to be shared or what has to be read. This is so much in sync with the passage. You guys went with C. I'll tell you why not. People will become less aware of differing arguments. ये पता है क्या है? शर्म करो आप लोग सब लोग. This is external knowledge. बोला है कहीं पर वहां differing arguments का point कि varied ideas नहीं मिलेंगे. ये तो आपने टोटल अपने दिमाग से लगाया. बताओ मुझे कहां पर है. चलो मैं लेके चलती हूँ इसमें. People will become less open to या less exposed to differing arguments. चलो बताओ मुझे. अनुराग you, तेजस्विनी you, tell me. यहाँ तो उसने पेसिमिज्म का और ये सब बोला है एंड लाइक वेयर इज दैट पॉइंट दैट वेरीड न्यूज नहीं आएगा रिसेप्टिव टू मेनी मोर वर्जन्स ऑफ ट्रूथ दैट एंड आर बिकमिंग एडिटर्स डिसाइडिंग फॉर देमसेल्व्स सो दे आर बिकमिंग एडिटर्स फॉर देमसेल्व्स डजंट मीन दे आर गोइंग एंड कॉन्फिगरिंग कंटेंट इन दोस कंपनीज राइट very bad interpretation. So this was extreme, of course, will erode our grammar, our attention spans and dumb down our cognitive abilities. Extreme, eliminated. Like the certainty, we don't know whether they liked it or not. Between these two, will become less aware, external knowledge. So this is the one that is left. Conversation, engage, getting, they are kind of, engaging in participatory thing. That is what is given. Done. This one is good. Weaken the case. The author has claimed there that people are kind of sharing content. People are in charge of content. That is what he has said. And he says in the end, Tejaswini, here, they can barely believe this. They had seen this, right? And here, if you see here, it is this that has only recently become possible and will embrace in the future. What? It is recently this revolution where people are participating in this, right? आप उसको weaken करोगे and you will say leave it. The way companies were creating content for us, they will continue to do that. That is exactly what D says. You guys got this. The most successful media company of the future will produce what? Traditionally, those media companies have always produced. They will continue to produce content. People cannot produce content. People cannot share. People cannot participate. This is what this is saying. Right? I'll give you a Gyan point here. I had given this earlier, but again I'm saying this. C, it was between C and D. Why? Because these two are almost similar. If you ever come across such options in CAT, please remember this. More often than not, one of the two will be the answer. I hope you note this down. ठीक है? चलो, done. CBD. Now, Ritu, you have understood that haste makes waste, number one. And number two, you should not follow the rat race. If somebody in the audience says that answer, बस blindly, हम तो वही करेंगे. करो फिर आप. चलो. Next one. It's a 4-paragraph long passage. Come on, Tejaswini, buck up now. ठीक है? And I'll show you the questions. I have got only one question associated with this. Which of the following is a conclusion supported by the passage? Now, this question asks you explicitly, what is the conclusion? Right? Okay. So, go back. For this question, Ritu, Shraddha, I will not go through the entire passage word for word. So, I request you not to do that. ठीक है? Just check the first para, first line of every para and go to the last para where the author will be summing it up. Okay? And then, यहाँ पे इसमें हम जा करके देखेंगे. चलिए. 5 ऑप्शंस हैं इसके, ये हटा दो आप. ये. ठीक है? ई हटा दो. Don't read too much, please. I'm giving you only 40 to 50 seconds. Just skim a little bit. Critics, federal law, bill, and then I read this part. Hi Megha, good to see you. Everybody should pay attention to these words. Done. Chaliye. A look at the question, the options, and then we go back if there is a need. Indigent is a needy person. You have to eliminate, guys. Prameet, I really need some elimination from your end. Okay. I'll take you back once. Vaishnavi Johari's dog is not letting her study. उसको भी बोलो थोड़ा VRC पढ़ ले. If you just check the flow of the passage, you will get your answer. Recent news, locals have hospitals had to reroute. Yay. Earlier this week, okay, people had to be turned away. Federal law requires hospitals to treat anyone. ये law है. Federal law, state law. Doctors now want to set up. Critics contend this would leave hospitals with less revenue, right? Because everybody would want to go to doctors private, right? A bill was recently introduced, okay, for this. And then you come to this. It's not going to go away anytime soon. The regulations are there. Too full hospitals compromise everyone's welfare. Healthy competition with small neighborhood, this may be what is necessary to help dampen this. You see this? He gives his suggestion, Tejaswini, but he gives a but as well. That is where I sharpen my fangs, that he is giving you a suggestion, but, with a but. So take it from there. Come on. I would simply eliminate. Come on, Anurag. So what should I save as your answer? The final one. Kanakshri, Richa, Prameet, Swati, Vaishnavi. I don't want this or that. I want one answer. You guys are saying A, Kratika, Tejaswini. Everybody has to be sure before they give me the answer. A. Okay. Let's eliminate together, Anushka. Voters should tell the finance committee members that they will not be re-elected. Tejaswini, I liked your elimination. You said out of scope. Very well done. Right? The government should provide health insurance for those unable to buy their own. Anurag, I liked your elimination too. Eliminated. The government should provide. He says over here very clearly, healthy competition with small neighborhood surgical and diagnostic centers may be what is necessary to help dampen the rising medical costs of these government beds, government centers. Right, Mrigank? So, this suggestion is here. He doesn't say that government should do it. Right? So, definitely government should provide is eliminated, B and C. Now I am left with A and D. Correct? It says conclusion. Emergency rooms that turn patients away due to overcrowding are derelict in their duty. Go back. Communities are full is worrisome. Earlier this week, 4 of the 6 ran out of space and had to turn people away. Right? As a result of having to treat large numbers of uninsured, the emergency rooms become an economic drain on the hospitals. Right? Critics contend, okay. And the same number of indigents to treat. Fine. But between A and D, I'm looking for a conclusion. Conclusion means what would the author finally conclude based on the recommendation that he has given in the last para. You have to consider this recommendation that he has given. Everybody. You have to take that. Right? So, on the basis of this, but under no circumstances should the hospitals be forced to care for everybody without health insurance, while competitors operate free of the burden of caring for those unable to pay. Right? So, between A and D, yes, it is A. Good. Yes, Kanakshi, very good. I like your confidence. Very good, Vaishnavi. Very good. If doctors want to run their own facilities, means private wala, right? They should be required to take in at least some of the indigents. At least some bola. That is so balanced. That is not extreme. Somebody said in the audience it's extreme. That is balanced actually. At least some, not all. This is what he says here in these last few lines. This is what he recommends. Got it? So we are done with this. This was good for you all. Very good. So you all have warmed up now and we are ready for the trot. This is the next one. In this I have got two questions. Okay? Just three, four paragraphs are there. Two questions. Okay, Mrigank? Ye dekh lo. It can be inferred that the author would support regulations. Now just think of it, Tejaswini and Shraddha, before reading the passage. The author would support regulations. So obviously in the passage he is discussing something, that some regulations are not in place or we need to do something, the government needs to do something, and then on the basis of that, on the basis of what is missing, okay, the author is going to suggest some regulations, right? Ye hai. In the third para, the author refers to which of the following as a paradox. This is not a conclusion question, but I really found this question interesting, so I wanted you guys to have a taste of a paradox वाला question. इसलिए मैं लेके आई हूँ, ठीक है? तो एक paradox है, एक कौन सा regulations author agree करेगा? I'm showing you the passage. Come on, पूरा मत पढ़ो. It's a waste of time. Fine, here, and then I'll take you to the next slide. Come on. Right? Then बीच का ये सब स्किम करो. Just check the first line of every para, Tejaswini. Done. No more reading, please. चलिए. What kind of regulations would the author suggest or support? जो जल्दबाजी करेगा, that person will be left with only one choice. जो तरीके से करेगा, उसके दो बचेंगे इसमें. Which two should I eliminate, Tejaswini? I need that from you. Anurag and Tejaswini. Come on. Everyone, come on, wake up and buck up. पहले elimination बता दो मुझे. Very good, Anurag. I'll take that. First D is eliminated. More integrity. Seriously. Okay. Then one more. Okay. Chaliye. I'll take you back now in case you're not able to eliminate. What are the three saying? Open previously restricted sites. Okay. Previously restricted sites open to amateur archaeologists. Limit the artifacts that can be extracted from any this. Apply more analytical methods to the classification. Go back. Record. This is what he has said. Documentation. This is the main idea, isn't it? सब लोग पहले confirm करो. This is the main idea or not. Right? Okay. Now, since I have come back for the second round of reading, I'm going to check a little bit. Excavation, okay. All excavations permanently alter. Okay. ठीक है. They have responded by a paradox. Okay. ठीक है. Such practices, you see this, such practices preserve the all-important contextual and permit future study. This is important because these are significant not just for this but what they can tell us. Okay. When more sophisticated techniques, at some later date when more sophisticated techniques and analytic methods are available. By preserving archaeological resources in place and keeping records of what has been recovered, archaeologists work to assure, okay, past has a future. I really need to eliminate D एक solid elimination हुआ है जो अनुराग ने बोला. I need to eliminate one more. एक है जो external knowledge से धड़ाधड़ आप लोग चलते चले जा रहे हो. Who can give me that external knowledge वाला? I need a reply to this. Which one gives us, I mean, which option is, where you are applying external knowledge? B is extreme, limit the artifacts. Okay. No, I would eliminate A. Open previously restricted sites to amateur archaeologists. He is talking about recording and documentation and all. How does that connect with amateur archaeologists who would provide assistance? Assistance is not the thing. Yes, Tejaswini, A is external knowledge, well done. I'm left with B and C. Now, if I were in your shoes, I would look for the difference between the two, go back and prove one. That is the way we are supposed to solve CAT questions. Limit the artifacts means बहुत बड़ा number मत दो, limit. That can be extracted from any particular archaeological site. Any can be extreme, limit can be extreme. Okay, I need to prove this. Apply more analytical methods to the classification of items recovered from prehistoric sites. Okay, author would support regulations that do what? Okay, apply more this or this. I'll take you back. चलिए. When more sophisticated techniques and analytic methods are available, right? यहाँ बोला है, when excavation is necessary, extraordinarily rigorous methods are used to recover, record and analyze within the context of their discovery. In order to preserve as much of the context as possible, generally strive to collect relatively small samples from sites that can be preserved. Total recovery of archaeological resources usually occurs only when all other alternatives are exhausted. Okay, so the answer has to be B. C cannot be better. Again, you guys have been very hasty. Just because you saw analytical over there, you picked that. ये भी तो सोचो, apply more analytical methods to the classification recovered from this. Okay, more analytical methods to the classification. Go back. Yeah, देखो, preserve the all important contextual. This is important, significant. Okay, all right. But for what they can tell us about past at some later date when more sophisticated and analytic methods are available. Right? He's talking about regulation. अभी तो उसके पास analytical methods है ही नहीं. By preserving archaeological resources and keeping careful records of what has been recovered, archaeologists work to assure that they have not been able to record properly because of too many resources, or sorry, too many excavations. That is what it says. Must be carefully examined. Their form may be difficult to interpret. Precise determinations and this require extensive this. Right? Mill races are not always recognized or this. Methods used by them contribute to the special status in order to accurately must carefully record during excavations. This is called this. And in the last para he says, second last para he says very clearly, they try to take out some, relatively small samples, and big ones like total recovery of these resources happens only when all other alternatives are exhausted. Analytical देखा आपने, कूद पड़े, यही है आंसर. ये तैयारी चल रही है. Right? So at some later date when more are available, the question is what regulation? Not technique, what regulation? So apply more methods, ये regulation. क्यों चाहिए होगा ये? Limit the artifacts that can be extracted because it's given there. That is considered good. Chalo, question number 6. In the third para, the author refers to which of the following as a paradox? All right, I'll take you back. Paradox means opposite. ठीक है? चलिए, you check this portion and then we answer. Come on, Richa. They have responded to this paradox by working. Which paradox? Check here. Got it, Richa? The excavations they need, okay, to recover archaeological resources. They need to excavate and that affects the data. This is a paradoxical situation. Okay, now let's go to the paradox question. I would simply eliminate. Come on, guys. Look for an option in which there is something opposite, all right? This is an easy one. You can get it. Tell me, guys, what should I say as your answer, Anurag? C, yes, eliminated. No longer use reveal much about the people who originally used them. Who used them, that is not being talked about over there. Tejaswini says D as the answer. The others agree with her or not? All right, okay, perfect, great. Done. This is great. You guys got D correct. Great. Done. I hope this question, that's question number 5, is clear. Kanakshri, this. I hope the questions in the previous passage are clear. Yes, Richa? So, main idea, paradox, conclusion, inference. Start practicing more. Besides your reading, now you have to start practicing. And as I have said earlier, you need to practice 3 RCs back to back just so that you build up stamina. But if you want to practice like, specific things, let's say inference or conclusion, you can check your books, iQuanta books. Okay, number 1. You can check GMAT ka free repository. The questions there are just similar to what CAT gives you. ठीक है, RCs वाले, you can check there. Okay, or you can practice from old mocks, or go to PYQs, take from 2017 and start coming forward. Do not move 25 backwards, okay? That is like towards the end. हम जब अक्टूबर में पहुंचते हैं ना, सितंबर में, then we start with 2025 and move backwards. But अभी के लिए you can start from 2017 and move this way. Mrigank, question 6, sure. Paradox is something that is opposite. So what is the paradox here? They collect the data, okay, but that data, I mean when they excavate to collect the data, है ना Mrigank? They excavate to collect the data. देखो Mrigank, यहाँ पे there is a data, some data is there. The archaeologists are here. They want the data. What do they need to do? How will they acquire it? They need to excavate. If you excavate, you are going to destroy the data, not destroy exactly, but you're going to affect the data. This is the paradox. कोई बात नहीं तेजस्विनी, you can practice from where you want. जैसे Mrigank, I'll give you one more example just to illustrate this point. There is a there's a vase बोलते हैं, vase क्यों बोल रहे हैं? There's a vase, okay? It's a Mycenaean vase. It's at a museum. Okay, now this is Mrigank. Fine, this is Mrigank. Mrigank wants to test the authenticity of the vase. Got it, Mrigank? You are an archaeologist or a historian or whoever, and you want to test the authenticity of this. But in order to test the authenticity, you need to pulverize it, means grind it to fine powder. You take the vase, you grind it. But then, after pulverization, this vase is not fit to be displayed in the museum. How can you display powder? Got it? That's the paradox. Okay, so we are going to stop here because we have run out of time. There are 4 questions that are left. I'm posting those 4 questions on the app. So those of you who are there on the app, like as participants, you can pick from there. Yes, Vedamitra, RC playlist is given out for that very purpose. I take RCs, I dig out RCs from various sources. So please take that RC playlist, that 100 wala, and please use it as much as you want. मुझे भी लगेगा कि शुक्र है मेरी मेहनत थोड़ी वसूल हो गई. Yes, Prameet, most of you made mistakes today because you guys were hasty. Maybe you have been out of touch. So, I mean, we are going to warm up more. We need more sessions. All right, everybody. हाँ वैष्णवी, is there any unanswered question? PYQs हो चुके हैं 2 times. Okay, so don't do those ना. वैष्णवी, you can go to the GMAT material as I recommended. You will love that material. मतलब उसमें जो RCs है ना, एकदम ही उसके question types, not the passages. Again, I'm saying RC type. That's very different, CAT का और GMAT का. But then the types of questions, you will just love them. एकदम ही CAT style है. Tejaswini, you have just been out of touch. Okay, ऐसा कुछ वो नहीं है. Be honest with yourself, Tejaswini. Maybe you have not been reading regularly, or maybe you have not been practicing the various types of questions. आप GMAT में वाले material से जाके practice करो. अगर आपका book वाला हो गया है या अगर आपको उससे और नहीं करना है, you find them very easy. Just go and practice from there. जहाँ मैंने आपको बोला है. या take up some old mocks या old sectionals, and you can dig into those. Yeah. All right, Vedamitra, you want question 5? Sure. Inferred. Tell me, Vedamitra. So it was between B and C. B, why is B the answer? Limit the artifacts that can be extracted. The question is talking about regulation, Vedamitra, not about the technical aspect. So here it says very clearly, in order to preserve as much of the context as possible, archaeologists generally strive to collect relatively small samples that can be preserved. Total recovery is done only when all other alternatives for preservation are exhausted. Okay. What should you look for, Vaishnavi? Kuch nahi, just open randomly and take up passages and solve, and go to my RC100 playlist, abhi jo Veda Mitra ne bola, RC100 on YouTube. That is such a mehnat dala hua playlist. It's definitely going to benefit you. All right, good night guys. Bye bye.